Welcome back, everybody. Got another tank update video. It's been a very long couple of weeks in the saltwater side of things, but going through Kenna's tank, looking very clean and beautiful as usual. Her little beta is looking good. Very pretty looking little fish. I don't remember if I included this in the last video, but it's a tower filled with water, and sometimes the beta will swim up there. Sometimes some of her little fish. And the coolest part, I may have to attach a clip, but some of her corridors had babies.
Look, it's right in front of your camera. Oh my gosh.
May not be able to see them very easily today, but yeah, overall her tank's doing wonderfully. This tank, which was our old saltwater tank, but before we went to a bigger size, this is gonna be for pea puffer fish, was her goal. So not much going on in it. She has gillyweed, I think is what it's called, in there right now, and then just a little light and a bubbler at the moment. Now we get to the saltwater side, which hasn't been, it's been rough. So a little backstory, the lid for our BioCube, we noticed, like, as summer started creeping up, the temperature of the tank would stay around the 80s, maybe mid 80s. So eventually we knew we were going to upgrade to a new light, to the AI Prime, and then take the lid off. We knew that was going to happen at some point. But so the backstory, we went to the beach, and then the day that we left, the light was in dim mode. If you're familiar with BioCubes, there's 3 light settings. There's like a blue, like nighttime moonlighting type thing, and then a sunrise setting, and then a full daylight setting. So it would only stay on sunrise setting. So that was the day that we left, but was still on, still had dim lights, so we were like, okay, we're only gonna be gone for a couple days. We'll order the new light, and then when we get back, just upgrade everything and we'll be okay. So ordered the light, and then it was supposed to be delivered the Saturday that we got back, and yeah, it didn't come in on time. Hurricane Barrel slowed shipping down, so yeah, we'll slowly watch the tank just suffer, and we'll kind of go through everything. Sadly, the anemone didn't make it. I'll attach a picture. Into the clip, but that was just like watching a slow train wreck. So unfortunately, the anemone is no longer in here. Starting with the mushrooms, they're not as big as they usually are, but hopefully this light's been on for maybe 2 days at this point, and things do look like they're starting to bounce back a little bit. But the mushrooms usually, the one in the front left will expand when it's full. It's so huge you can't see the rock behind it. It shades the other mushrooms that are on that little stone. So hopefully that bounces back, because it's really pretty. The GSP, we were able to get that attached to, I was able to get that attached with some, what is it, like epoxy, like a 2-part epoxy that you mix together and then set it. It heats up quite a bit, which I didn't expect to happen. But the epoxy will heat up, and so you have to work quickly with it, and that was kind of difficult, but it looks like it's starting to expand. If you can see the little polyps starting to expand and grow outwards, which was the goal. It would be nice to have the whole back like a furry wall of grass. So now we'll go to the A can. It's really pretty, but still pretty small. hasn't died, which is good. I was worried about this one in addition to the anemone. The frog spawn suffered in our Euphilia garden, which is what this area is going to be. The frog spawn suffered the most. It looks like it had some pretty significant bleaching. And the day we got back from our trip, it was expelling. I thought maybe it was some kind of algae, but now I'm convinced that it was expelling its zooanthily. So, yeah, it was just looking really bad because this is the most eye-catching coral in the tank. So, but it looks like it's expanded quite a bit. It has 2 mouths on it, so at some point it did. Yeah, it's looking a little bit better, so that's good. The hammer coral, I got this from another local reefer who she had a huge colony of this green splatter hammer, I think is what it's called. So she fragged it off, and then I was able to get a little piece from her. And then another really cool coral addition that we made is the octospawn, which is like a frog spawn. My understanding, it's like a frog spawn with more polyps. So when this guy grows, it's just gonna look really cool if it filled up this little center area. So yeah, here, the cabbage coral. This looked like it was handling the low light, the under illumination a little better than everything else. So, but this has steadily been growing since we purchased it. We're gonna try to find a permanent home for it. I wanted to put it here just so it could expand and then eventually find a better place that wouldn't interfere with where the anemone was or the Euphilia were. So it could just do its own thing. This was zoanthids, a zoanthids plug right here, but those unfortunately didn't make it. I didn't want to touch them. I didn't want to mess with them too much, but from what I was reading is like they have a defense mechanism where they'll like get a slime coat on them, and apparently you can brush it off, but I really didn't want to mess with them all that much, and unfortunately they didn't make it. So yeah, that sucks. But this right here, this Montipora was doing really well. We got this from the same place we got the zoanthids, which was Worldwide Corals. They had a big sale going on, so I was able to get the zoanthids and this for really cheap. But this was doing really well. Light went out, and now it's pretty heavily bleached. It does look like it's expanded since grew out since we've gotten it. That's another sad one because it's pretty heavily bleached. Hopefully that one bounces back. Back here we got a mushroom. These guys will just skirt around the tank. We have a Rhodactis somewhere. I haven't been able to get eyes on it. Yeah, those are really cool mushrooms. And then back here, this may be the Rhodactis mushroom. Very little chunk of it. And then we get to the... I cannot remember the name of this coral. You have to forgive me. But this one's doing pretty well. It looks like it bounced back pretty quickly. It did, when we bought it did have a little aptasia on the side of it, but I haven't seen it in a while, so hopefully it corrected itself. But it's looking pretty good. It has quite a few little heads on it now. Same as the Duncan coral. This guy was suffering too to even open up with the light conditions. So who knows what parameters fluctuated without the light at full strength. So, but he looks like he's bouncing back a little bit. Here's our urchin. It's pretty cool when we get to see him.
You got a sea urchin?
Yeah. Can you see it on the back little filter?
Wait, can you touch it?
I don't want to. I don't want to break its arms off. But that, we did see it growing starting to grow new arms and expand a little bit, which was cool. They look like little red nubs.
Do you have any other sea urchins?
No, buddy, just that one.
Any starfishes?
Here's the conch, which is cool to get to see
you
him
do
out
have a
and active.
Do you have any starfishes?
Very effective cleaner.
Do you have any starfishes?
Yes, we do. I don't know where it's at though. Sometimes you can see.
Oh,
There
I
he
see
is.
it. There he is.
Here's our starfish, just hanging around, cleaning up. Yeah. Okay, and then on the back of the tank, I don't know what these are. They're little white. They're hard to the touch, like you can scrape them off. I don't know if it's sand that maybe stuck to the back, but I'm interested to see what ends up happening with those. And then I think a bright side of the tank, aside from the light, which the light is sick. If it seems significantly better, more high tech than the BioCube stock light. But we got that. Got this light, very cool. And then we got a lid because we have cats, so we didn't want them goofing off with the tank, and to also avoid any jumping of the clownfish that we have in there, which they've been doing pretty good. They eat like crazy, so would hate to lose them because they're really pretty. But this has a little feeder opening. Really like it. Allows more airflow so the temperature can stabilize a little bit. We also added a BioCube skimmer, which to this tank actually. It cleans up quite a bit. Like, we're removing the skimmate very frequently, and the water quality looks significantly clearer than when we started making these videos, so that's great. And then yeah, but one of the cooler bright sides of this whole ordeal, we're starting to see some coralline algae, which if that continues to grow, it'll expand, and it'll slow down the growth of nuisance algae. Plus, it just looks pretty. It's to me, it's kind of a trademark of a healthy saltwater tank, you know, and it's a sign of a tank that's maturing, which is good. Who knows? Maybe at some point I want to add at least one other fish and maybe call it there. I would love to do a mandarin goby, but I don't know if a 32-gallon tank. Obviously, you want a larger tank for something like that because they have to constantly pick at something to eat. You know, you can get them on frozen brine shrimp and stuff like that, but I don't know how reliable that is, you know, long term. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the update. It's been a slow burn of a week, but hopefully everything starts to turn around in here. Later.